All right, shalawam. All right, first off, I want to say all praises to Yahawah, bahasham, Yahawashi, bahasham, Qudash. Double honors to our apostles and elders of GMS, and to the elect who are working in sincerity and in truth, shalawam. My name is Nazar Qad, GMS Precepts, and you can see here in the title. This is from APnews.com. It says Russia to pull out of nuclear arms pact after U.S. does the same. All right. And mind you, U.S. America has pulled out of multiple nuclear arm treaties with Iran, with Russia. Okay, why? Well, I'll get this. This is First Thessalonians 5:1. I'll start at the third verse. It says, "For when they shall say peace and safety, then sudden destruction shall come upon them, as travail upon a woman with child, and they shall not escape." Okay, so all that so-called peace treaties and nuclear arm pacts, all that was bullshit. At the end of the day, the Most High, who you people ignorant call God, all right, He wants a third world war to take place here, all right. And in order for that third world war to take place, all these so-called treaties that these nations have with each other, they have to fail, okay, or they have to be broken. And you can see it here. It says Russia to pull out of nuclear arms pact after the U.S. does the same. And who's making these kings of these nations do that? Let me get what's that? That's Proverbs the 21st chapter, 21:1. It says the king's heart is in the hand of the Lord, as the rivers of water, he turneth it whithersoever he will. So that's the Most High doing that. The Most High is allowing these other nations to break treaties, okay, make nuclear arm pacts with each other and break them, or pull out of our nuclear arm deals. As you can see here, this is Putin, the leader of Russia. All right, so I'll read a paragraph. It says, following in the footsteps of the U.S., Russia will abandon counter peace nuclear arms treaty, but will only deploy intermediate range nuclear missiles if Washington does so. President Vladimir Putin said Saturday. U.S. President Donald Trump accused Moscow on Friday of violating the 1987 Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty with impunity by developing banned missiles. Trump said in a statement that the U.S. will move forward. Uh, with developing its own military response options to Russia's new land-based cruise missiles that can target Western Europe. Okay, because I believe America has they have or they want to put a defense system in Europe for who for Russia. Okay, see all these nations, they fear Russia because Russia has the most nuclear arms in the whole world. Okay, they have the most missiles, right? And according to prophecy, those missiles are gonna get shot over here to America. Okay, it says Moscow has strongly denied any breaches and accused Washington of making false accusations in order to justify its pullout. Okay, so this is basically another. So it's now we're basically in another nuclear arms race. Now, when we go out there and we say that nuclear missiles are going to be used in war, in this third world war, we are looked at as fools, man. But if you read the news, it's not so far fetched anymore. Let me get some scriptures. This is Zechariah 14:12, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Okay, and that plague is speaking about not a disease, although there will be diseases in certain pestilence out here in the last days, but this plague is referring to nuclear missiles, man, because it's going to be a plague. It says, and this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. Okay, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, and Native Americans. Their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Now, what weapon can do that? Nuclear missiles. A weapon that can consume the flesh. Okay, showing you that Sarah Connor when she was on the gate, and what happened? Her flesh consumed away, her eyes consumed away, and her holes. And that's also metaphoric talk, because their eyes, their eyes, or their thoughts or their visions that they have for their future is gonna be done away with. All the things that they say that they're gonna achieve is gonna be done is gonna be done away with, right? It says, "And it shall come to pass in that day that a great tumult from the Lord shall be among them, and they shall lay hold of every one on the hand of his neighbor, and his hand shall rise up against the hand of his neighbor." That's speaking about those racial tensions, those race wars. You see, a lot of bad things are going to take place before the Lord's return. It tells you that. It tells you that. What's that? Matthew's, the 24th chapter? Matthew's 24. Matthew's 24. What's that verse? Like 20. Right, 21. For Matthew's 24 and 21. "For then shall be a great tribulation, such as was not since the beginning of the world to this time, no, nor ever shall be." All right, so the times that we're approaching is going to be some very bad times. There's going to be race wars. There's going to be wars and rumors of wars, and then we're going to go into a war, which is that third world war. Then in that third world war, you're going to have these nations: Russia, Iran, America, Europe, NATO, China, North Korea, Japan, India, Pakistan. All these nations that have nuclear capability, they're going to be used, man. Okay? It's going to be the war to end all wars. That's what's coming, man. That's what's coming. Okay? Let me get another one in Revelation, the 9th chapter, which speaks about nuclear war. Nuclear war. Nuclear war is in the scriptures, man. Right? Let me start at Let me start at 9. This is Revelation 9 and 12. "One woe is past, and behold, there come two woes more hereafter." All right, and those woes are speaking about World War One, World War Two, and World War Three. And it says, "And the sixth angel sounded, and I heard a voice from the four horns of the golden altar which is before the Most High, saying to the sixth angel which had the trumpet, Loose the four angels which are bound in the great river Euphrates. And the four angels were loosed and were prepared for an hour and a day and a month and a year for to slay the third part of men. And the number of the army of the horsemen were 200,000. And I heard the number of them. And thus I saw the horses in the vision, and them that sat on them having breastplates of fire and of jacinth and of brimstone, and the heads of the horses were as the heads of lions, and out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone. All right, and this is speaking about those missiles. They're going to be arrayed like horses. It said having breastplates of fire and jacinth and brimstone, and the heads of the horses were heads of lions. Why? Because the nuclear warhead contains all the missiles. The head of the warhead contains all those it can contain up to 8 to it contain multiple warheads inside the warhead. Right? So that's where the power comes from. Okay? It says, "And out of their mouth issued fire and smoke and brimstone." By these three was the third part of men killed, by the fire and by the smoke and by the brimstone which issued out of their mouths. Here it is, verse 19. "For their power is in their mouth and in their tails. For their tails were like unto serpents, and had heads, and with them they do hurt." Why? Because the tail is is what propels the missile. It pushes the missile up into the upper atmosphere, or comes down, and that's when the warhead is left. And then once the warhead is a certain distance, it opens up and spreads out into multiple warheads, and it shoots down, and it causes a whole. And that's why I said it's going to be 200,000. That's a lot of missiles, man. That's a lot of missiles. All right, Russia to pull out a nuclear. So the whole thing with Russia And the thing with also the situation going on in Venezuela, which Venezuela is backed by Russia, that's something to look after, because that's another war and rumors of war with America and Venezuela. They're considering a military action in Venezuela to get Maduro out and back who they want to back their puppet. So that's another situation to watch. The situation in Venezuela. All right, so that's pretty much the show. Until the next show, hope y'all brothers edified. Until the next show, shalawam.